Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. So last week I had talked about being at resistance in all three of the indices as well as Tesla, as well as gold miners. But I thought the indices and Tesla would potentially end the week down because of the way the trend lines were positioned, while GDX would end the week up. Yay! Wow, what a full house from last week. So what's going to happen this week? Not as clear. I do think there's going to be more volatility than what we've seen. So I'll talk about that. I'll talk about some potential trade setups on each of the charts. And let me just say this up front. The Joe chart, the coffee chart, is bullish. If it goes down this week, it's still bullish. If it goes up, it's very bullish. It's bullish. So I thought I would start, instead of jumping right into charts, so just go ahead and fast forward if you don't want to hear the story. But I'd start by telling you a story that I wish that I had been able to put together earlier in my trading career, because even though people said to think forward, I didn't know what that meant. So I'm just gonna kind of title the story Following from the Front. So when I lived in Boston, I had 3 dogs, and I would walk them all off leash every night at this big park with this trail and these woods. And they're very good dogs. And 2 of the dogs sort of walked beside me or slightly behind me. They would lag, they would sniff things, they would go off into the woods. And one of the dogs would always be on the trail in front of me, 15 to 20 feet. And so one day I was talking to somebody I used to walk with every night, and I said, that dog is a leader. That dog is not a follower. And he said, you are crazy. That dog is the best follower I have ever seen. And I was like, what are you talking about? The dog is in front of me. And he said, watch this. So we got to a section of the trail that was wider, and he went to one side, the dog sort of stayed, and then he motioned to me to come over, and I went to the other side of the trail, as did my dog. And then I noticed that whatever side of the trail I would migrate to over and over again, she would as well. So she was following me. She was anticipating my moves. She was able to stop and sniff things and still know that I was behind her, so she could kind of keep an eye on me. And there wasn't any chance that she would possibly lose me because she was in front of me. So she was anticipating my moves and following me from the front. So it finally dawned on me after, when I first started trading, I would look at what was popular at this very second. And then at that very second, and then I would have no patience. I wouldn't wait for a good setup, and I would just dive in. And then I would end up either losing money or having to wait a pretty long time for my money to come back to me, and then, barely sort of squeaking out. So what I've learned to do now, or what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to anticipate what is going to happen before it happens. And I'm doing that by watching people and companies and figuring out what is in their best interest, whether or not they've always gotten what's in their best interest before, and then trying to sort of trade that out in front of the crowd, and then adjusting as I need to, depending on how those things are going. So I hope that makes sense. That is my own philosophy. So it is, however, speculation, and I've seen some of these YouTube channels with a bajillion followers, and they say outrageous things that I guess are, because they're provocative, a lot of people tune into them, but then they turn out to be super wrong. They don't lose any followers, but they're just super wrong, and I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want to mislead anybody. My speculation could be wildly off. So I'm not comfortable with telling you what I think Elon Musk means by some of his tweets. However, I'm going to make it plainly obvious what I think based on what I do, because I'm going to be trying to follow from the front as opposed to following the crowd once something happens. So with that said, I'm sorry that's disappointing, but that was a good story, right? Let's talk charts. You ready? All right. Okay, so first, let's start off by looking at ES or SPX weekly futures. So for this week, we had broken out of this pink line a couple weeks ago. We had tested resistance, and I thought we'd end up down. We did. We got pretty much right to the top of the channel, and then pretty much also right to this 4619. Not exactly, but really close on both counts. So for this week, I don't think it's likely that we're going, and I could be wrong, of course, but if we do breach this 4716 area, I don't know that we're going to close the week above it. We certainly could, but I think it's more likely that we close the week below that. So I'm going to look, if we sort of breach this level, I'm going to look if there are any short opportunities in a smaller time frame. I'm going to look for that. And on this sort of support side, below this same levels before this 4619 level, I'm still thinking that it might be a high probability that we back test this channel unless we do break out and then close above 4716, and I'm incorrect. And then of course, then that becomes very much less likely. The target, however, remains 4909 for now. It just would need to get above this resistance to do it. I found a similar sort of set of candles here that we can just look at together. You see how in fact, there's still an open gap way down here at the 4,000 area. Look at that, right? But this is and these have open gaps as well right here. But this is a similar candle to this one. And the next week we breached above and then closed below. And that's why I think if we do breach above, I do believe that we'll close below again. And also because I think just from an RSI perspective, we need a little bit more Momo before we break out above a trend line that is pointed upwards. So that is why I think what I think. And here are the pivots. Okay, now let me go ahead and look at the daily. Now from a daily perspective, we have, however, formed somewhat of a bull flag. So I'll be watching this 4694.5 area on a shorter time frame if we get above it on a daily time frame, and figuring out whether or not we're going to break out from a flag or whether or not we have some more sort of consolidation here, which by the way I think would be healthy before we get the next resistance level on the daily. So that is what I'm watching there. If we do break out of this flag, I will certainly let you know, and then I will have to calculate it, I think from based on right here what the measured move was, and it'll probably get us about to right here. So those are sort of my two schools of thought right now. It could go either way, and I don't know which way it's going to go. All right, now let me look at Nasdaq. This is the weekly. Again, close the week lower, and we didn't quite test the top of the channel here. However, I still think that we do need to do some backpedaling here, but that's sort of the top of the channel for this next week, 16,521. Let me look at the daily and get some more color on it. Same sort of thing, not quite as beautiful as the bull flag, but support if you're wanting to take a long here, and we do have a little dip on the open or sometime on Monday, is 16,141. That is immediate support below where we closed, and then resistance is all the way up here at 16,384. And then if we wanted to do some sort of back test, it would be kind of scary, but it would actually coincide with the 20 MA. It would be 15,858. So those are sort of the levels I'm watching on the daily for Monday and the weekly. Let's look at small caps. Okay, same dealio. So now I do think that, so 2452 is resistance now. It's possible that we get one of those setting sun formations in all of these. I'm not sure, but I just want to give you the pivots, and then I'll have to get onto Twitter to add color as the week progresses, just because I don't know what's going to happen. Still have this target here if we are to break out to the upside, but for now, and let me just move this over in case we do. Oops. Okay, there. One more. Okay, so 2606 would be the resistance above this 2452 area if we were to break out into it. If we were to back test this 2350 and you are bullish, I think again that's a nice place to take a long gamble, if you will. And then this heavily defended area for next week is 2245. So we'll have to see what happens. Those are the areas I'm watching. Let's look at Bitcoin. Okay. So this actually is really interesting because we talked about this hokey pokey flag before, and then the flag actually, because it was hokey pokey, didn't get to its measured move for quite a while. And if we're following sort of a similar it's not a fractal, it's a piecewise analogous segment. Oh my gosh, I'm shocked I was able to remember that. Okay, that means that potentially we might have a down week. This is a daily chart, but that's what I'm thinking, or a down day. I don't know. I'm thinking that potentially we might get to the bottom of this channel depending on when it happens. So I'm watching the 59,500 area, And then from resistance level, 68,475. So, but I do think because of the way this hokey pokey flag played out in the past, that potentially we'll have some down days ahead of us. And that might affect the market as well. Who knows? All right, let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum's very boring. It's ranging. It's not doing anything. It's certainly not bearish. So these are the two sort of channel pivots I'm looking at: 4982 resistance, 4136 support. Okay, let's look at Dogecoin, or is it Dogecoin? I think it's Doge. Anyway, so I've actually bought into Dogecoin. I did not have any before, but I bought some because look, it's like, oh, wasted money. However, it's not going down significantly. And I will say, somebody at a doctor's office told me to buy it right here because they said that it was going to $1 by the end of the year. And it hasn't done anything. It really hasn't done anything. It's just been consolidating. It almost looks like accumulation, although I don't know if it is or not. But anyway, I bought in. Somebody asked me where I bought, and I'm a very literal person. I'm like, the internet. But I bought on the orange line here. So I've got another buy happening if it goes back again, or if it closes above this next orange line. Let me zoom in on that so you can see. And it changes every day, right? But for today, Sunday / I guess this would be Monday, it would be above 0.26855 or so would be a very bullish thing. However, there's a lot of resistance up in here, which means that if it gets above the pink line, I think it's going to go to Mars. Hint, 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 hint. Okay, this is Tesla. I'm just going to take a little bit of credit here because it's not easy to short Tesla, but I tend to be pretty good at it. Oh, anywho, so I'm actually interested in buying it here if it gets down to this next pink line, which I hope that it does, because then I can go long, at least for a little bit. We'll see, because I do not think it has topped. I don't think it has topped. I think we will see at least another minor high. You like that? I use words from the Elliott wave, even though I don't know what the hell it is. Anyway, so I do think we're going to get a little bit higher than we've already gotten. I don't know when that will be, but short term, I would like to take a scalp up at least from here if it gets there. But it's possible that it slices right through there and goes to this next pink line, because that's the real support. That's the scary support. If the market absolutely dumps, that's where I think Tesla will go. But if the market just is sort of wah-wahing, that's where I think Tesla will go. So either way, I will tweet about it real time so you will see, and if I fail or not. If it doesn't, however, and it leaves without me, that's fine. I'm not going to cry about it. It'll be all right. I'll survive. Okay, so let's look at GDX, or gold miners. We killed it last week, including not only buying the dip early, but including the resistance here almost to the exact penny. So for this week, there is resistance at the 35.08 area, 35.08, and there is support way down here. It would not surprise me to see sort of and you know what, I said it wouldn't surprise me to see a few plus 10% days, and because this is a weekly chart, and I still believe that. Look at this in the past. Okay, this will go huge once it gets past here, but I think before that happens, it's gonna need to get over this dotted line. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen this week. Certainly, the momentum is to the upside, but it's really above this dotted line. Let me go ahead and label it. It's above this dotted line where things are going to get freaking cuckoo. Okay, so above 36.55, cuckoo. Okay, but there's some resistance here at 35.08. Maybe we'll gap above it, back test it. That'd be great, and then go right here, and we can see how it performs. But 36.55 is the area to watch for cuckoo-ness to happen. I mean, absolute freaking cuckoo. I don't know if I said that enough. Cuckoo. All right, let's look at gold. Okay, so we had a crazy week in gold as well. Yay, 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 yay. And, it's broken out over RSI, but, potentially we might get a back test here before it just goes to the moon. I do not know if the market goes down. Potentially it might take gold with it. We'll have to see. But it wouldn't surprise me. A week up would not surprise me, and a week back testing this RSI support would also not surprise me. So I really don't know which way it's going to go, just from a bigger picture perspective. So I'll just have to watch it and tweet about it sort of real time. Okay. I'm sorry I'm not more helpful, but I just don't want to say anything that's not true. Anyway, that's what I'm watching from a gold perspective. From a silver perspective, this is not a head and shoulders, okay, but how great did we do in terms of our buy here? What? We did great. We did absolutely awesome. And then it closed right under this resistance at 25.395. So I don't have any, let me just zoom out. So remember, for a while there, it was just triangulating in this huge consolidation, and then broke out down below. And then I said, I really didn't trust it to move higher until it was back into this triangle. So really super heavy resistance at 25.97. However, if we get back above that, oh boy. So that's what I'm watching. I'm watching pretty much where we ended, 25.395 as resistance. This key level of 24.945 right here. That would be a nice back test of this neckline, not a neckline, right? And then if it holds that, then yay. So that would be a time to add if you are very bullish silver. I am extraordinarily bullish silver. I am more bullish silver than I have ever been. And I have been bullish silver in the past. I think silver is going way the F up. So I will be buying dips. But how dippy the dips get just depends on the market, as well as some rumors and some speculation. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at oil. So one would think, and I do think, that oil is going to go down this week, but I'm not willing to say that out loud. I think I just did, because we're at the bottom of this weekly channel, and this weekly channel could absolutely be support. For this week, it's 80.70 is support, which is pretty much right where we closed, very close to it. From a XOP, or oil's equities perspective, it wouldn't surprise me at all for this. I'm still short oil equities. It wouldn't surprise me at all for it to have a huge ass candle down this week because of this reversal flag looking thing and this action here. However, if it gets above 111.03, I'm wrong. I don't think it should get above it. It sort of danced on this line a little bit. It opened higher than this line last week, and then was like, oop, fakey breaky, just kidding. But it didn't close substantially down from the week before. So I don't think it would be that great if it got back above. In fact, I think I will definitely take some off and sort of try to change my positioning a little bit longer term if it breaks 111.03 this week at all. Okay, it could maybe just right quick, but no, that's not going to be good. So that's another reason I think potentially we might just have some volatility and go down this week. And then immediate sort of resistance, if we do have a whoosh candle down, is or support, I should say, is 100.43. So that's a little bit more than 10%. That's a lot, right? That's a lot. But if we do have a whoosh candle down, similar to this one, I would expect some support in this area. Okay. So my target for oil from this flag that had broken out way before was 89.23. That's also feasible this week if we do not breach this, or if we can hold, I guess, this 80.70, which is sort of going to be the key line. So above bullish, below bearish. Okay. And just watching what happened here, I don't know, because it definitely could just go straight up here. Okay. I don't know. Okay, let's look at Nate. I had thought that Natty would go down because, like, I knew a lot of people wanted to get into it and they were very bullish, but I do think that this 4.527 is an area of support, unless it gets back above let me Sorry. Let me move this marker here. Okay, so well, this area of interest for tomorrow would be 4.82. That's the bottom of this channel, and above it we might see some uppage, but it looks like it's doing a natty thing, which is killing all of the people who bought here. However, it could go all the way down to here, this area here, 4.388, and actually all the way down to here, this robot area. This is a gap in the daily, and that's at 4.184 to 4.225, and this would be super awesome risk reward to the long side if it just poops here in the next day or two, and I would buy it there. I would try to buy it there and see what happens, and then have a whoop candle happening, especially after this big one, because it looks like it's going to try and screw some it looks like it's going to try and first screw the longs a little bit more and then screw the shorts. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay, let's look at Joe. So somebody asked me how I came up with this target of 77.07. So let me just go ahead and move this. What I did is I measured the length of the pole here from the bottom of this candle to the top of this candle, and then I moved the same thing to where it broke out from, which is here. Well, here-ish, yeah, here. And I said, okay, so I'm going to take the length of the pole and I'm going to add it to where it broke out. And especially because then it had this beautiful, this pennant turned into one of my favorite things, which is an ascending triangle, which is what gold did. That's why I think it's super bullish. I think it's just going to follow the path that gold followed when it broke out that Friday from that ascending triangle, and then it went whoop the next week. I think it's going to go whoop this week. I think so. Could be wrong. Anyway, immediate resistance, and where people who just got long and was not listening to me this whole freaking time when I was saying how bullish it was, I would take a little bit of profit at 63.52 area if it gets there. And a back test of this breakout would be 58.59. Okay, but I think it's going to get here. But it would have to get above this upward sloped area to get there. So it might not. We'll have to see, but it is so bullish looking to me. I don't know how to express it in any other way. Not financial advice. Okay, oh, let me make big. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I babbled on so long, but I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you on the interwebs. Okay, bye.